This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I share programming, marketing, and promotion strategies that are easy, enjoyable, even fun, so you can create a business and a life you love. And this episode is really almost like part 2, and you can totally listen to this one first and then go back and catch the other one, but I highly recommend you do it. So if you're not interested in free advertising, you should just stop here. But who doesn't want free advertising? This one's all about interviews and media appearances that are an amazing way to create credibility, because it's truly a third party saying, hey, this person is worthy as a resource, and here's why, and I'm endorsing them without them having to actually say that. And we're going to talk about how you can actually create opportunities if nobody is saying that yet, so that they will. But the first episode I did just last week was about how to interview so that you, if you get booked or when you get booked, can ace it. You can interview like a pro so that you're confident and comfortable. You sound good, but you can also get clients and customers, or maybe it's interns and great employees from it, depending on what your goal is. You're looking for free advertising opportunities so you can create those over and over, because once you get one, you can leverage it. If you know what you need to do to get booked and deliver an interview that gets you asked back and gets you leads, this is golden. So in the last episode, just a quick review, I shared how to interview like a pro and get clients. If you missed it, again, I highly recommend you go back and listen to that one. You have a little homework to do before you actually grab the free advertising from getting booked or creating ways to be interviewed on your own, which is what this episode is all about. And I'll link to that episode here in the show notes. So how do you get free advertising from media interviews? How do you pitch the media? That should be your question, because yes, they're looking for somebody, but the old press release really doesn't fly anymore. First, you have to know this. They don't care about you. They don't care even if you wrote a new book. They don't want you to pitch, oh, I'm an author of a new best-selling book or just a book, right? They care about their listener, their audience, their viewer, and the reason they care about them is ratings. So if this is TV station or radio station, they have to get their ratings and rankings high. So they need listenership and viewer numbers. So if you don't pitch something relevant to their listeners, you won't get booked. So you have to do your research. If you want to be on a certain show, know who watches it. And potentially a radio station or a TV station does multiple shows. They may have a morning news show before work or a talk show for people who are at home during the morning, or a noon news show. And on those different times of day, there's different listenership. So if you're pitching something to a stay-at-home mom, I mean, you're probably looking for things that are either at noon, or if they've got a talk show, that's your jam. Meal times or before work, those people are going crazy. They're not listening then. So pitch what you've got at the right time. Know who watches then. Target that audience and make it clear to the producer or the host that gets you booked that you get them, that you get how hard their job is to have a perfect resource, a perfect topic that their audience is going to love, and you understand what they're trying to do. Make sure that you pitch somebody who actually has a health, fitness, or wellness segment that's open to guests. So occasionally you're going to come across a station who has someone who takes care of that, someone who already on the station or the network is their health expert. You may not get in. Don't waste their time or your time. Most likely they do have a segment though, and you want to know, are they open to guests? there's a lot of airtime to fill. So don't be afraid to, pitch something. Don't let your mind take over and think, why would they want me? They're probably full of ideas. No, they're probably scrambling, especially the more hours they're on during a day. The more they're looking for somebody make my job easy. Give me a segment my audience will love and tell me exactly what the host or the anchor or the reporter should ask you and why it's relevant right now. So a pitch, proposing your idea, is a one sheet, literally one sheet of paper. So if you can't fit it on one sheet, it's too long, of an idea for a segment, and it's got these things in it. It's a catchy title. Make it controversial so it piques interest. Think about magazine cover titles. So if you don't buy a lot of magazines anymore, you can go and look at online blog titles or go to, a magazine that's kind of controversial. I mean, go to something like Cosmopolitan and see how they write their titles. Go to People magazine and see how they write theirs. Even National Enquirer will give you some ideas of what is it about that title on the cover that makes you want to open it up and read it, even if it's crazy stupid. We kind of can't help ourselves, right? You're looking for something like that, not something benign. Your pitch also includes a simple, teachable method or system because that organizes your presentation. And whoever you're pitching wants to know you're not going to ramble. You're going to give a short, concise answer to a question. That's a good interviewee. You want to know, yeah, sure, you can elaborate. So if you have 10 minutes or 20 or 30, you can fill that time. However, you want to be able to give bullet point answers that are right on target and clear to a listener if you only get to be there 2 minutes. Those are your clear, concise talking points. Make sure that they know how to contact you. So put your phone number, your email address, and specifics about your website should be on there as well. Some points of credibility about you. So you lead with the title, the news. Maybe it's a research article or a statistic from a credible like .org organization. But then you include your method, how you solve the problem, the mistakes, the confusion that someone in their audience might be making. And then you finish. You do not lead with your credibility. This is not about you. It's about them and their audience and the problem and the solution that they're going to be the first to relay. And then you finish with some credible points. How many people have you helped? How many years have you been in the industry? What major industry organizations have you presented for, or how many best-selling books have you authored? How many articles have you written? So put some little points of credibility. And this is not long. This is short. So there's got to be 1, 2, 3. And that says a lot about you. Put something unique and distinct about you. And I'll kind of give you 2 examples of how I use those last 2 points. I have been the Flipping 50 podcast. Not this one, the Flipping 50 podcast to my consumers has been recognized, by AARP as one of the top 9 podcasts to listen to for the 50 plus market. That was a big deal. So I mentioned that. I've helped over 145,000, and actually that's what it's written on my pitches, but it's 150,000 women currently in the over 50 market. And done it since 2013. Those are big things. I'm a subject matter expert for the American Council of Exercise. A lot of people recognize that. So there are other things I could say, but I go for those really top ones. AARP gets a lot of attention. And being an A subject matter gets a lot of attention. Numbers is also important. So those 3 things are 3 things I might use. So think about who you're pitching, what the topic you're pitching on, and then use credible pieces of your background that are directly related to that. So then you want to make sure that you're talking about why what you're pitching is relevant right now to their audience and it's news somehow. So you, of course, might be pitching something related to osteoporosis and bone density, and that's evergreen, meaning you could pitch it all time, all year long, and somebody listening is concerned about that. But why now? So has a recent study come out talking about the number of falls? You want to make sure that you're pulling something so it feels like it's news to them. Is it relevant for the season you're in? So in the winter time, how are you going to help those people prevent falls that will result in a fracture? That makes it relevant to late fall, early winter. So remember again that a pitch is not a press release. So if you're still using those, they may work, but truly, unless you're in a super small town that's desperate for news, it's probably not. So you've got to make sure that your pitch is attention-getting and juicy, not dry. Here's how to get free advertising from podcasts, online summits, and panelists, and where to start that conversation with somebody who hosts one. Find opportunities in podcasts by taking advantage of your professional organizations. You're probably already in groups and forums online or offline. You know the importance of networking. So you have something unique, hopefully, and you know how to make it distinct, and ask if anyone in those networks has a podcast, or reach out to those that you listen to and offer yourself up as a guest. If you've got a Go Red for Women's event near you, hosted by the American Heart Association, at the fundraising lunches, there's often a panel of experts offer to attend and be a guest. Make it clear why you. So again, you got to come back to, if we're talking about American Heart Association, how have you worked uniquely with people at risk for stroke, with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or recovering from heart surgeries? Seek out other events happening at your local hospital or the national level if that's where you are, and create them yourself. Oh, here's how to do that. Host free public events. You can use any of these ideas to create an event yourself. Host it at your local community center, at a church, if you don't have a brick and mortar building, think about national days, of the year, or weeks or months, and do something for instance, Breast Cancer Awareness Month or Stress Awareness Month. Of course, there's a Stress Awareness Day. Think about seasonal topics. Offer a workshop on spring training without injuries from doing too much too soon, or winter ski conditioning, or avoiding falls on ice by improving your balance. Send a pitch then, once you've created that workshop and you have a day and a time and who it's for. Send a pitch to local media about that event. If they need something to fill a slot that day, and the target is their audience, you'll have a great chance of getting booked, not just for your segment, but potentially they may cover the live event with an on-site camera crew. How cool would that be? You can also partner with local businesses when you create these events who target the same group you are. A grocery store, for instance, might sponsor your event by providing snacks. A massage therapist might offer a discount to attendees. A sporting goods store might offer a special rate on a related product that supports the goal that you're targeting. And then they too get exposure and free advertising, and they will share the event to increase your free advertising. It works for both of you or everyone, depending on how many are involved. These are just some ideas on how you can get booked, or you can basically book yourself, because whenever you're in a position to be asked questions, whether that's by a host or a reporter or anchor, or you create an event, put yourself in front of an audience, and then leave open time for questions and answers from your audience, you are doing an interview that gets you exposure and sets you up as a credible authority among your audience or in your community. Fitness pros, if you're listening and you have a question, leave it below the show link at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/free advertising. And there is a hyphen between those words. And I would so appreciate it if you leave a rating in iTunes. I will leave the how to do that and the link for you in the show notes. So it's super simple, takes minutes. And then check out the blog and other podcast episodes at fitnessmarketingmastery.com. And don't forget to listen to the how to interview episode I did last week. And then share with me and our community how you're doing on your free advertising and make a difference by reaching more people.